My name is Dave Tran, and this is LuxTV, shedding and spreading light for the chiropractic student. We have chiropractor Dr. Alex Vidan calling from St. Louis, Missouri. He graduated from Logan in 2004. Dr. Alex, welcome to LuxTV.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, so let's get straight to it. Yeah, how did you get your start in chiropractic?
Let's see. I guess, I started off that I actually had a sports injury, got a concussion, and about 6 months later, I started having agonizing headaches. Headaches would start about 6 times a week, and then I would usually have a migraine about once or twice a month. And so I was pre-med at the time and just looking for something. I had talked to MDs about what they did. I was actually in rotations at hospitals and everything else, helping out. I was just doing whatever. And I kept on asking these guys what's going on and everything else, and they just didn't have a solid answer for me. I was also talking to them about, hey, what do you do and how do you like it? And these guys just were not happy. They kept feeling like there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a way for us to get to these people before the fact that we're seeing them and they're in this dire need of everything they've got and surgeries and everything else. So they kept telling me the same story, that they want to prevent these things from happening. But by the time they got to them, it was too late. So one of my buddies, he kept on me about going to see his chiropractor. And I kept telling him, just like a lot of patients say, I don't have back pain, man. Why do I need to go see the chiropractor? Because I didn't get it. No one had ever educated me about it. He kept telling me no for your headaches and your migraines and everything else. And so finally one day I just said, all right, after years of him being on me and him not giving up on me. So I'm so thankful that he never gave up on me about that. Because then I went to the chiropractor, and now in 15 years, I've had 5 headaches and 1 migraine, which that was like a typical week for me. So I was incredibly grateful for that, for him just being on me about it. So I say never give up on anybody with that, because it worked for me, and now I'm in chiropractic and doing it. So make sure that you keep on people about those things, because it makes a huge impact and difference, because now I'm making an impact and difference on so many other people's lives. But I never look at somebody and get frustrated with them at the fact that, maybe they're just not ready to hear the message yet, because I wasn't, and gratefully he never gave up on me. So then I went to Logan and graduated from there, and then, got started.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because, a lot of people just live with that pain thinking that it's a common thing, but it's definitely not normal. So
no, not at all. Yeah. I hated taking drugs, and I hated the idea of anything else, and the MDs didn't have anything for me. So finally I was just like, you know what, I can't take this anymore. Let me go check out this chiropractor, and I'm very grateful that I did.
And talking about you kind of spreading the message and speaking about the message, like you got a lot of notoriety recently with an awesome interview that you did on the local news.
Yeah.
Could you kind of talk a little bit how did you got associated with the local news and the things that you kind of talk about?
Sure. We'll talk about everything from, health and wellness topics to, things that we talk about in our office, nutrition, drinking water, posture, making sure that they're doing right as far as how they sleep and work and drive and all these different types of things. So we'll talk about all kinds of different things. Some of the topics I come up with for the news, and some of them they come up with for me, and they say, hey, are you interested in doing this? The way that I got started in that is that I had this patient, and she worked at one of the news stations, and even before she was a patient, I was just on her about different things, just not giving up on her, and just making sure I was talking to her all the time about different things that she can change in her life and making those lifestyle changes. Well, finally, she came to me one time, and she'd been trying to get me on the news station. It just wasn't working, just wasn't coming together. She switched to Fox 2, my Fox station. So she switched to there, and when she switched to there, they said, hey, we need somebody to come on and talk about headaches. And she said, I've got the guy. So they gave me a shot, had me come on, and once they did that, then the rest was history. They asked me to come back again, and that kind of a thing. And then they said, hey, if you ever have ideas on anything, let us know. So they were open to it. I was open to it. I started that in 2008. So I've been on about 150 times.
Oh, wow.
So it's been great, so it's a lot of fun. Those people are great, and it's great to get the message out to so many people.
Yeah, and it's, I like how you kind of talk about, it was a relationship that you built and rapport, with
absolutely,
with the reporter, because a lot of people are always wanting this like quick fix and wants this like how can I just jump on your TV show,
right.
and take everything, but you obviously had to build rapport, and you guys worked well together. So
sure,
that's awesome.
And you have to imagine in their situation, when they have somebody come on TV, they're not particularly vouching for them, but they kind of are, in a sense that they're saying, hey, we're having this guy come on, because he's going to give you good information or information that you can use or something that's valuable. And similar to what you're doing here, right? I mean, you're having somebody come on and you're saying, hey, I might not agree 100% with what somebody says on my show, but I want them to come on so at least other people can get the information. And if it jives well, then in their situation with the news, then they're going to have people come back. And so that's why they've had me come back so many times.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I also kind of watch some of your interviews as well too. And, like you're not going out there and talking all these controversial stuff,
No.
like, exactly, and that's the thing about it too. It's like, sometimes chiropractors have always like to kind of post super controversial stuff on Facebook, and I was just like, no, that's not smart, because I mean, those are the type of things that aren't really discussed over the dinner table.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, let's get to that point eventually, but you know what? Let's kind of like meet them where they're at, kind of things.
And that's it. You've got to meet them where you are or where they are, so that they're ready to hear what you have to say. I mean, you got to think about it this way. People are more likely to hear what you have to say if you can speak to them in their language and they can understand what you're talking about and they can relate to you. If you start speaking about our own jargon and about our own specific issues and things like that and what we deal with and what we talk about, laymen, they don't get that. It's not. So you have to meet them where they are, and then you can start talking to them about health and wellness and really what gets to the next level for them, because it's usually not, at least not where I am, not in St. Louis.
Yeah.
It's not usually something where somebody comes in automatically and say, you know what, doc, I'm here because I just want to be healthy. I just want a better life. I want more energy. I want to be, have this upper level of life and vitality, which is what chiropractic's about. But I need to meet them where they are, because usually they're coming in with headaches or neck pain or back pain or whatever it is. If I can meet them there, just like doing on the news, if I can give them a topic that I can meet them where they're at, then they'll pick up the phone and they'll call and they'll say, hey, I just liked what you had to say about whatever this was. Can I come in and talk to you about that? Can I schedule a new appointment? So works out well.
Yeah, and then do you just kind of rehearse, like do you look in the mirror and then, and talk to yourself about it? Or, I mean, how do you prepare for being on the news?
There's a whole process with that too, because every one of those segments, I'll be completely honest, whenever I do those segments, it's all live. Just like us right here talking, it's live. I don't know really what's going to be asked. I have a general idea, but you never know. They could pull something from anywhere. I mean, I've had literally on one of my live segments, I've had it where the interviewer stopped right in the middle of doing everything, and there was a mascot for the St. Louis Blues that was standing just off the shot, and he pulled him into the segment. It's this big blue bear, and he pulls him into the segment and into the spot and everything else, and we're talking about posture, and so he's going on and on about that. You just got to roll with it and just have fun.
That's awesome.
So you don't know how those things are going to turn out and what's going to happen there, but you do your best to rehearse it. You do your best. At this point, I've done it so many times that I've got it down as to how it is that it's usually going to go.
Yeah.
But still, even then, every time I go back and look, like that segment you were referencing about the low back one, in the JAMA article, even then, I don't know what they're going to say or how they're going to do it. I just know that they can position it a couple of different ways, and I've got to be prepared for that.
Yeah.
And we briefly talk about that ahead of time, and then we just roll from there.
Yeah, that's great.
So,
and calling in from St. Louis, I know that you also spend some time and you work with the St. Louis Cardinals. Could you kind of talk about that as well?
Yeah, I mean, working with the Cardinals, they're a great organization. They're just phenomenal. So I was their official chiropractor for the 2011 World Series. And so, I was on the field whenever it happened. I was in the parade the day after, in the clubhouse when they're blowing champagne everywhere and doing the whole thing and all that stuff. So, I've got the ring, I've got all the stuff. I mean, it was an amazing experience. And just being a part of the World Series and everything else. And those guys down there, they're just good people.
Yeah.
Working with them, it's a great thing because I can just focus on being a chiropractor. I don't have to worry about, I do muscle work, I do therapies, I do things like that because I believe in that as well. And I know a lot of docs don't, and that's fine. For me, being down there and working with the Cardinals, I can just focus on the adjustment, and that's it. And that's what I love, because that's where it all stems from. That's what it's all about, is the adjustment. And that's the foundation of everything that I build off of. If I do anything else, it's because of the fact that I'm doing the adjustment first.
Yep.
Even if I didn't get to do the therapy and everything, I know that if I deliver the adjustment and do that the right way, everything else is going to be better than it ever has been before. If I do anything else, it's just ancillary. It's secondary to those things. But maybe that person needs it. Mm-hmm. So the nice thing about working with the Cardinals is I can just focus right there on that chiropractic adjustment, and I can hand it off to the trainer or the PT or whoever else it is, and we can to work in a team environment to say, all right, this is what I saw, this is what you saw. What is it that we can do to keep that player or get that player back out on the field so that ultimately they get the best results? And that's what we want, is we want them to all get the best results and work in a team and as a unit so that we all get the best results possible.
Yeah.
So it's great.
And I'm assuming that you got to start working with them because, you like, yet again, more relationship building and
absolutely.
And just meeting more people. Yeah.
People ask about those things, so how'd you get in there and how'd you get started with that and how did that happen? And it's all just what you're saying. I saw that you had something on there that you like Grant Cardone, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you had something on your Skype page or something like that you like Grant Cardone. I like Grant Cardone too. And he says, and I'm going to steal this from him, he says the difference between a contact and a contract is the R, the relationship. Yeah. So building that relationship is huge. You build those relationships, and I didn't build my relationship with the Cardinals or with the news or anything else because I wanted something out of it. I just did it because it was the right thing. Mm-hmm. And I didn't build my relationship with Boeing or with, Energizer or with any of those big Fortune 500 companies because I was wanting something out of it, but because it was the right thing. And if you do the right thing and you do that enough times, eventually it seems to come back around. Yeah. It's just hard because, like you said, people a lot of times we want to say, what can I do right now in order to get those results tomorrow? Yeah. And that's the same as our patients. They want to know, what can I do right now so that I have the results tomorrow? We say, whoa, hold on. We got to work through this process. It's the same thing.
Yeah. So, and lastly, what is your greatest advice for chiropractic students?
Oh, man. I would say that my greatest advice for them is just stay true to who you are, what chiropractic's about, and just, stay principled, find your philosophy. Those things are huge within that. Whenever my practice started picking up the most, it was because I found my philosophy. I figured out what it was for me and figured out how to really be direct within that. The other thing that I would say is just what you were saying, is develop those relationships and be persistent. Be unreasonably persistent is really the way that I look at it. I mean, really, just keep going. Don't take no for an answer. Just keep pushing, keep doing it, and keep realizing that, like my friend who said to me over and over for about 5 years, he said, look, you need to go see this chiropractor. He never gave up on me, And so I just want to say, if you keep being persistent and people keep on doing what they can, the impact's going to be huge. So just be persistent, man.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, if you want some more information or want to connect with Dr. Alex directly, check out the links below. Every week I will be uploading a new interview with another leader in the chiropractic profession. If you like this video, please share it with your classmates, give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. My name is Tran, and this was LuxTV, shedding and spreading light for the chiropractic student.